Hey guys, Matt Donald here. I gotta be upfront about something. That episode that I was supposed to come out last month and the month before, the Dino Island and Sea Monsters: A Prehistoric Journey, they have not come out yet, as you can see. The reason why I'm so behind, and I truly apologize, is my anxiety is through the freaking roof and beyond, up to the stars and heavens. This damn election coming up in America. I am scared coprolightless. Excuse a bit of paleo humor. I really want Kamala Harris to win, and I really want Trump to lose. Normally, I wouldn't say specifically which candidate I'm for to keep things apolitical, but knowing the target audience of this podcast, it's about dinosaurs, it's about evolution, it's very non-young Earth, and we have some very progressive hosts. I figured I'm pretty safe letting you know up front that I really want Kamala to win and Trump to lose. So, yeah, I'm just really stressed out. It's getting in the way of all my writing and getting in the way of all my creative projects. The only reason why Paleobites has been able to go on, undisturbed by all this is because I kind of anticipated that this would happen, and I record enough that I have a backlog to make sure I have episodes all the way up to the election and beyond. So Paleobites will remain unaltered, but the Patreon itself I have been unable to sit down and do because of my anxiety. I'm being completely real here, no jokes. I've been talking to therapists. I believe in being very open about my mental health struggles, which is why I'm saying this here at the beginning of this episode. It's really a downer, guys. But yeah, to compensate for this, once the election is over, so mid-November, I promise you I will have 4 Patreon episodes available by mid-November. So the 2 that were supposed to come out last month, the 1 that's supposed to come out this month, and then November's as well. So 4 will come out all in a row. In fact, I might even make it 5 so that we're not just caught up, we're ahead. Because I owe you guys that. And I will feel better after the election, even regardless of who wins. Because, yes, obviously, there's one candidate I prefer to win over the other. But the anticipation, the unknowingness, the uncertainty of it, that's really what's adding to my anxiety. And once I know, I should be better enough to get back to work. And I plan to do that. So, yep. That's what's going on with the Patreon. So nothing this month, nothing up until November. But there will be 5 bonus episodes in November. If you would like to cancel your subscription because of that, I would totally understand, but it will be back, I promise you. Anyways, back to the show. What a great note to start on. Yeah, dinosaurs. Politics.
Roar. Growl. Snarl. Bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast that's dino blood. My name's Matthew Todd. And each week, I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate and blah about a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week, I'm joined by my fellow blah. It's Laura Owsley. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate intro. Actually, I feel like that's what most people hear when I start talking.
Or when I just like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I feel like most of my life is just getting information onto people.
I don't so much. I don't so much say things as kind of like excrete them, or like I just kind of just like regurgitate them.
So one of my jobs, I'm a busy lady. One of my jobs is that I'm a tour guide of Denver.
Yeah.
And I always tell tours about how there was a period of time that for some life reasons, I had to take about 3 months off of tour guiding. But as excited as I was to go back to tour guiding, everybody in my life, all my friends and family were so excited for me to stop unloading information onto them that, we're just driving around and I'm like, actually, did you know that this is the Voorhees Memorial and that James Voorhees? And my friends are like, yeah.
You've told us 5 times.
We've been on your tour.
Yeah. Oh, of course. You do have a lot of jobs, though. Unlike me, this is my job. It pays me well. Live in my parents' basement with pride.
I mean, gosh, anymore these days with how much I was telling Matt that speaking of new jobs,
Yes.
I will be starting a new job where I'm working for this very nice apartment complex in Denver. And I'm very excited to start. And the first question I feel like everybody asks me is, oh, does that mean you're moving into these apartment complexes, these really fancy apartment complexes?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, they pay me pretty well. I'm not going to like sit here and be like, they don't pay me anything. They pay me pretty well. But still, their one bedroom apartment starts at $1,900 a month.
Holy crap. Like that's,
Yeah.
How
So,
does
like,
anyone afford a house anymore? I just don't get, no one can, except for rich people who buy like 20 of them.
Yeah, buy 20 of them and then like Airbnb half of them and just rent out the other half.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Housing market's got to collapse at some point, so my fiance and I can get a house.
Honestly, my roommate's actually thinking it's going to collapse here soon.
Well, I've been thinking it's going to collapse for a while, but those rich people, they keep prolonging it, like putting the life in more of a corpse that's wants so badly to die, but they just keep jamming life support in it.
No.
It's like until it's like this barely decrepit corpse that just is like, please let me die.
Edward. Sorry. I just triggered anybody who was really into Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that's what you're describing out of Twilight whenever I heard Edward.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Although recently a friend of mine found out that I had never seen the Twilight movies.
Well, hopefully you kept it that way.
Well, unfortunately, no. So it became our new thing that was like, I'd come over, we'd have some wine, and we would watch one of the Twilight movies. And I'm not saying they're good movies, but but like some of the other things that I was into at that age, I look back on and I'm like, why was I watching that? Like,
yeah, Roly Poly Oly. I remember that one.
Oh, the best. Oh.
So, anyways, how in the hell do I segue into that? Roly Poly Oly. Oly is an O, which is a vowel. Another vowel is U. Another creature that begins with U is Udanoceratops.
Rolls right off the tongue.
I did
Perfect
it. It was
transition.
Flawless. It was seamless.
Absolutely incredible.
It means Udan's horned face, or like Udan Sayr. It's the location that was found in Mongolia, and it is another leptoceratopsian leptoceratopsian. So like our boy Gremlin. Oh yes, of course. And like our buddy the Gremlin. So
yes, we just discussed the Gremlin probably in your time months ago, but in our time about 20 minutes.
Right. And so while that one was more like, sorry, you thought that was over.
No,
more. This
it's
one's
getting
more
worse.
Like, this one's more like blah, 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 blah.
Bleh,
Blah, 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 blah. This one's definitely like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so that's what it does.
Perfect.
Anyways, it is 13 feet, 1,500 pounds, or 700 kilograms.
Holy.
You know that Chad meme? This is that guy in ceratopsian form, especially with that lower jaw. That's quite robust.
It truly is. I feel like in half these pictures that I'm looking at, he looks kind of cute, and in half of them, it's just like an unfortunate
He's a chunky
beak.
boy.
Chunky boy.
Yeah.
This is a dinosaur who could probably use one of those diets, one of those fad crazed diets.
Or maybe it's like a hippo where there's actually no fat and it's all muscle.
I could see that. He's just big boned. He's not fat, Matt.
Yeah, he's not fat. He's big boned, he's muscular, poofy.
I mean, maybe he is poofy, but we can't know, right?
Anyways, it's an herbivore, though.
Okay.
Lived in Late Cretaceous, 84 to 72 million years ago. Location Mongolia. So probably lived alongside a velociraptor because that was the same time and place.
Ooh.
So described in 1992, pop culture appearances. It appeared in the Pokemon ripoff anime Dinosaur King. More specifically in the Japanese arcade version where it had a lightning type, or was a lightning type, and it had 3 variants: normal, swift, and playful, which each did different effects when the card was drawn. So that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I could see this being a very playful creature, honestly.
I feel like it's playful, but like in that Mice and Men way, where it doesn't know the damage it's doing because it's so big and chonky.
I could see that. Like,
I want to play, blah, 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 blah. It just kills the kids.
Well, that got dark. Damn, Lenny.
Radomycin Men, it's a hard read.
Oh, no, I mean,
Yeah.
some of the books that they have you read in high school, I look back on and I'm like, damn, I did not appreciate the like levels of like darkness to that. Like messy things.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not unfortunately. Like I do think that it's very important for teens to read these classic novels. Mm-hmm. Just looking back on it, I'm like, man, I don't think 14-year-old me fully appreciated what I was reading.
So, speaking of things that began with you, have you ever read Upton Sinclair's The Jungle?
I have not.
Oh my goodness, that is the most English majory book, or most English teachery book, I should say. Everything English teachers love in a book. It's got it.
Metaphors.
Metaphors. It's dark. It's about the horrors of the meatpacking industry. There's poor people. There's prostitution. There's babies getting eaten by rats. There's violence against anims. Yeah, because it's the meatpacking industry. So
that makes sense. And
at the end, it's a big metaphor and a case for socialism. Which, on one hand, yes, I agree. But on the other hand, did you need this in order?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the book though? I didn't read it. Isn't that the book though that like changed the way the FDA like handles food?
Yes, that's the thing. It ended up doing a different thing than was intended. Upton Sinclair actually has a really great quote about it because he intended it to show how bad people suffered under capitalism. And how socialism could be the way to save families that need time of need. But people were so focused on it showing how terrible the meatpacking industry was, and they tried to fix that while still keeping it in capitalism. So he had a great quote where it was like, I was aiming for their hearts and I hit them in their stomach.
That is quite the quote. That was really good.
Yeah, so good on you, Upton Sinclair.
I mean, he still did good, though.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not the goal he set out for. Like,
personally, I would like socialism, Call me a dirty commie, but...
And I will.
Yeah. Anyways, Udanoceratops.
I was going to say, I feel like this is the kind of guy who would, like...
I feel like...
read The Jungle and walk away from it being like, man, I didn't realize that all of that was going on in the jungle just right over his head.
Speaking of communism, I was going to say this guy looks like a perfect dinosaur to speak with a Russian accent.
I could see that. I could see that.
Udanoceratops, and what are you doing here in my land? You've intruded. Bring in the bear cavalry and the vodka. The vodka. You will pay many rubles before trespassing upon this Mongolian
I think this might just be because Matt and I somewhat recently watched Anastasia.
Oh, yeah. That's right, where no one has a Russian accent except for Vlad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think this guy would be the equivalent of the Batu.
Bartok?
Bartok, sorry. Just after Matt was like, swearing a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta clean that mouth, man, before Udanoceratops bites it off with its
his beak.
But its beak is massive. And if you look at this construction of the skull, it looks like a wrench.
It does look like a sea wrench.
It looks like something you could just grab onto a bolt and just go, but it's a head. Like, it's crazy how big this head is compared to everything else.
The DIYers of the dinosaur world.
Yeah, it could, oh man, except the bolts that it could turn or the nuts it could turn. The nuts it could bite off. Oh, man.
Oh. And I'm the one with my mind in the gutter.
Oh, man. The toothless beak would have served to grasp crop stems and leaves. And so it had a beak in the front with teeth in the back.
Oh, okay.
So as you can see here in this, like, so that broke off the leaves and then it chewed them back here.
Sure.
Or not if it chewed, it just grinded them a little bit. Like, yeah. So it's the largest leptoceratopsid known so far. And if you look at this picture compared to a human,
it
looks about hippo size. I think, because like maybe a little bit smaller, but no, hippos are about that big.
Well, maybe so. Yeah. Just like if hippos had like a salamander tail. So like hippo body, salamander tail.
Right. Like it like
Feet.
13 feet doesn't sound
Ew.
like that impressive for a dinosaur, but then we forget just how big
13 feet is very long.
it's large for a thing now.
Especially for this chunky boy to be 13 feet long.
Imagine getting bit by this thing. It would bite your arm right off.
Oh, easily.
Like, it's crazy. It's
like that old myth that, to bite through your fingers as much like power as it takes to bite through a baby carrot, which it's not, but it's one of those things that goes through the internet.
Well, I can see that because who would be brave enough to try and disprove that?
Right.
So
right.
It's like the whole crossing your eyes getting stuck thing. I don't think that's true, but do you think I'm going to try disproving that?
Oh, I did as a kid. I was like, they're like,
really?
if you do that, like your eyes will get stuck that way. I was like, cool.
Oh, see, I didn't want that. So you've disproven it, or at least you didn't get long enough, I guess.
Yeah, maybe not long enough. I mean, I used to be able to hold it a lot longer, but
yeah, look at that.
Now it kind of hurts after a couple seconds.
You just got to focus on something that's like, you got to keep your finger there and just look at it there. Listeners, you can't tell, but we're both staring cross-eyed at our finger.
This is great podcasting.
Yeah, really
just sitting quietly, looking not at each other.
No, but at our fingers.
Trying to go cross-eyed for as long
your
as
eyes aren't
possible.
cross anymore.
Yeah. They start to, after a while, just
they start to drift.
No.
Have you seen those people that can really control their eyes? Like, they can like...
Yes.
Yeah,
honestly, part of me is a little jealous.
I'm not. That sounds like a weird ability to have.
I think all that stuff, especially when I was a kid, I was like, yeah. Like, I remember being like Googling when I was a kid of like how to learn how to flare nostrils. And everything was like, how to learn to stop flaring your nostrils. I'm like, no, I want to learn how to do it.
Yeah. I feel like I would only want to do that kind of thing to kind of scare people. Like if I want to do some trick with my eyes like that, maybe I could just close them and open them to be solid black. So I could pretend I'm possessed. Sure.
I think if there was ever a creature to be possessed, though.
Yes, thank you for trying to put us back on track.
Yeah.
Oh, unless you're going to say some other random creature.
Yeah, the Leopleurodon.
The Leopleurodon would get possessed pretty easily, I think. I can see that.
The Ouija board player, like...
I mean, did you see it in Charlie and the Magic Unicorn or whatever? It was just sitting there. It's a sea creature. What is it doing there? How is it there if it's not possessed?
Just chilling.
And
he's enjoying his vacation.
And he speaks and tells them the way.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything.
He's a magical Leopleurodon.
Oh, those Gen Zers have no idea what we're talking about. Or early millennial internet.
There's a TikToker who I like a lot who is like, this sound is like going is like not super, super viral, but it's very popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jill's like, yeah, I tried to show my millennial girlfriend, and my millennial girlfriend thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And I was like, well, yeah, because it's kind of reminiscent of all of those like salad fingers.
Oh, my
porn.
fiance loves salad fingers. I tried to watch it.
Hate it.
She's always like, rusty spoons. And I'm like, no, stop.
Oh, it used to disturb me so much as a kid.
Speaking of disturbing, Udanoceratops, because like,
nailed it.
I could see this thing like it's supposed to be like rusty spoon.
Could you imagine that beak, rusty?
Rusty spoon.
And then like biting off like a rusty. Oh.
This seems like a creature that I would not want anywhere near me ever.
Yeah.
I feel like, and just looking at this thing, it's got a big head, it could bite you like crazy. And there's no evidence for this, but I imagine it has terrible farts.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, vegetarian diet.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, sometimes it does mess with your digestive tract.
Yeah, just
all those beans and lentils, broccoli,
yep, and gross stuff like that. Oh man, yeah. I just imagine this. It's a slob. Who likes this thing? Udanoceratops. I don't like this thing.
I don't know. The chunky boy, like.
I mean, it's chunky, but it's not thick. Like it has a big head, but it doesn't have thick legs. I prefer my thick legs over thick heads.
He's a thick thigh kind of guy.
I am a thigh kind of guy. Oh my god, I saw this one thing that was like someone talking about like it was on r/unpopular opinion.
Sure.
And they were the topic was called "I like thighs more than breasts," and it took about 2 pages of comments before people realized Wait a minute, guys. I think he's talking about chicken. At first, people were
Wait a chick.
At first, they were like, wait, well, I mean, I guess, hey, everyone has their preferences.
Yeah,
But look at this here. Look at what we have known of the skeletal reconstruction. It says we know the skull. We know a bit of the vertebrae.
Sure.
Why do we think the head was that big? What?
1 meter for the skull.
Right. But look at this. Those are the bones we have. How do we, why do we know, why do we think it has such a big head? Someone smarter than me in the paleontological world probably knows exactly the answer to this. Until that person comes out, I'm going to call out bullshit. Because
you heard it here first. Matt with his English degree.
Yes. And my second-rate podcast. Because I feel like since we only have just a bit of vertebrae and then the skull, how do we not know that it was a lot longer and therefore the head was actually more relative?
Sure, I could see that.
Maybe the vertebrae compared to other vertebrae of the family, it's a similar size, so we think it must be that size with that. But
do we not have evidence of the skull?
Not to say we have the skull and we have the vertebrae, but that's it. We have no ribs, you see, no leg bones, no tail bones, except for bits of the tail vertebrae, the caudal vertebrae, as it's called.
Well, maybe he did have thick thighs, and we just don't know.
It's true. It could have had thick thighs. Maybe it was chunky all around.
All around, just one big rotund boy.
Yeah, it's like, imagine someone who's both thick, both fat and muscular, kind of like a bouncer from or like those Samoan people, the ones that not all Samoan. Oh my god, that sounds so bad.
It's just the way you said it. I know what you mean, but
the Samoan bouncers.
Sure.
Imagine a Samoan imagine Maui from.
I could see Maui. Yeah.
Big, a little bit chunky, a little bit fat. I mean, not really. I mean, obviously, muscular.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of girth to it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, he's been in a cave. It's not like he's exactly working out all the time. So maybe this guy.
Except you're welcome.
Do you think this guy would play Maui if he was a Disney character?
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see The Rock playing him.
I get one of the hyenas from Lion King vibes.
Which one, Ed?
I can see Ed.
Wow, these mouth noises I've been making.
This is truly what people come to this podcast for is weird mouth noises. Blech. Woo.
This podcast has really regressed into absolute slop at this point. So,
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
250 plus episodes in, and we're just
look. Sometimes you run out of words. At this point, we're just all blah, blah,
look. There's
blah.
a finite combination of words in the English language, and we've just used all of them. So, we're just
250 episodes later, we did it. Congrats, everybody! That is the total number of words.
See ya for another 250 episodes, because we got a lot more paleontological creatures to cover. This podcast will never end. My co-hosts can't wait until they actually get paid for it. So
I'm just looking forward to the day when we're all in our late 90s and Matt is like,
welcome to Paleo Bites.
This is the last Paleo Bites episode. I don't know why I chose that voice.
This is the last Paleo Bites episode.
And then
finally talking about some creature. We're talking about humanity because I'm the last human left. Everyone else is dead.
They all died in
except for me.
Leopleurodon Wars.
So we're talking about Homo sapiens.
This podcast is, again, nature has taken a full 180, and this podcast is actually now exclusively streamed by dinosaurs.
I mean, look, I've heard rumors that there's a second age of dinosaurs coming at some point.
I mean,
the birds will take over the earth, and then since it's their dinosaurs, they'll.
Oh, lucky Lyra.
Yeah, Lyra will be god queen of.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And Udanoceratops will be her magnificent steed.
I can see that.
Anyways, let's rate Udanoceratops 1 out of 65 million.
I rate it 45 and a half chunky boys.
45 and a half chunky boys. I rate it 40 million because I don't do silly ratings like you. I'm a professional.
Yes.
I'm a professional. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
That's what we've all said about you, Matt.
Yeah, I'm so professional. I'm very professional.
Beautiful.
Look at my 3-piece suit.
It's true. Yeah. For those listening, Matt is actually in a tailor-made 3-piece suit.
Blazer. Yep.
Yeah, blazer, tie. He's actually got a little bit of a tailcoat going on too.
Of course,
yeah,
yes.
The cummerbund.
Yeah, nice shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's wearing right now. It's definitely not.
Seriously.
Yeah. It's definitely not a t-shirt, shorts, and sandals.
No. And you are wearing a dress, a ball gown.
Yeah, I never leave house without my ball gown.
Ball gown. Your hair is all done up.
Yeah.
It's got frills,
Mm-hmm. It's actually, if anybody's ever seen Bridgerton, it is truly the Queen Charlotte-esque hair with the swans moving inside.
Do you think you got a nice hat or no hat?
See, it's just a teeny tiny little top hat at the
'cause
very top of my updo.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering if we could have those giant hats, the ones that have all the flowers on them.
The kind that are like
My Fair
3
Lady
feet.
ones.
The kind that are 1 meter wide,
Yes,
just like
exactly.
this guy's skull.
Yes, exactly. Okay, never mind. That bumps it up the range to 50 million for me. Imagine getting a giant flowery hat. This is my favorite hat.
Love it. It's
and
floppy.
flowers were evolved by the time of the Late Cretaceous, so
it's all coming together.
It checks out. Yeah, so the hat's not anachronistic, guys.
So this is actually me launching my new career of being a hat designer for dinosaurs.
And the nice thing about this is that since it doesn't have quite a big of a frill, there's a place to put it.
Yeah,
like other dinosaurs, it's a bit too it's kind of hard to figure out where to put it. But this one, no,
not for me. This is going to be my new career. This is what I'm going to dedicate my life to.
I look forward to seeing you as a dinosaur closeologist.
Thank you.
What's the term for
closeologist? Is
fashion
correct.
Designer,
not fashionista, not clothing
Cruella
design.
DeVille.
Yeah, very Cruella DeVille esque. I'm gonna kill the baby of these guys,
and then they'll use the leather to make.
Yeah, it's gonna be one big leather hat with flowers.
It's not even a coat, just a hat.
Just a hat.
And then you're gonna give it with the flowers for him to wear. It's like they did my baby in this hat. It knows it too because it's a monster.
I feel like this might be the most derails we've gotten during the rating.
Anyways, well, that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show for some reason, you can find me on Pale Bites Podcast on Twitter. Wait, no, Pale Bites Pod on Twitter. PaleBitesPodcast@gmail.com and Pale Bites Pod on Instagram. Where can they find you?
They can find me at Thespian Laura, ThespianLaura. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Reels. Reels?
Yeah, Reels. This is not just Instagram.
I think that's just Instagram.
Or Meta, because both Facebook also has Reels.
No, that's right. Is, not a website I use very often anymore.
Technically, no one uses Twitter anymore. They use the other name for it that shall not be named. But we call it Twitter, guys. The one thing that is the morally the correct thing to dead name. Yeah.
I mean, we dead name Twitter in this house.
Yes. That's the only thing you could dead name, and you have the moral high ground by doing so.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's just Twitter.
Anyways, that's it for this week. I have a bookstore saying I was on Megazoic. No Udanoceratops in it, but there's some relatives like Eryops and Leptoceratops are some characters. Leptoceratops is a more prominent character. And she's the lesbian lover of a Dromaeosaurus character from the first and third and fourth book. So Onra is her name. She's in the first book, and in the third book she's revealed to have a girlfriend who's a Leptoceratops. So in the fourth
my girlfriend is also a Leptoceratops.
Nice.
Yeah.
In the fourth book, they're married too. They're wives. They're wives of each other.
I believe in gay divorce.
Okay. Well, yeah, hopefully
exclusively.
Yes. So no. How can you have gay divorce without gay marriage?
If you ever met a lesbian, it's the second they make eye contact, it's like, oh, cool. And that was your wedding vows. You made eye contact.
That's true. It's like the U-hauling or whatever.
Yeah. U-hauling after date 2.
Yeah.
But date 1 takes 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Often how it is, as I know, I am in fact a lesbian woman as well.
It's true. It's true. Matt is a lesbian woman.
That's it for this week. Send me another episode of Paleo Bites. My hat.
They made my children into a hat.
And I love it. I look so fly.
And these flowers are so fabulous.
I look fabulous.
Somebody get me in touch with your clothing stylist person.
Oh, her name's Laura Owsley. What?
That's a terrible name. You should change that.
Oh, okay. I lost the improv. I lost the.
I lost the name of the creature.
Udanoceratops.
Udanoceratops. I was going to be like, you should change it to Udanoceratops. And then my brain was like,
this is the end of the episode. You never have to think about Udanoceratops ever again from this point on. So.
And I won't until this comes out, and I'll see Udanoceratops. I'll be like,
what? Okay.
We talked about that? I was on a podcast. That doesn't.
Wow, who is it? Wow, who is this? It's not very funny. No.
Yeah.
Hats made of babies.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah. Anyways, bye.
Bye.